How do you financially recover after divorce? Our girl Tori Dunlap did an interview with Oprah Daily. Here's what she said. First step is you got to get the lay of the land. Ask yourself key questions like, how much do I have in my bank accounts and where does this money live? How much credit card debt do I have? What is the interest rate? What are the terms for any loans I have? Then you want to try to start an emergency fund. Open a high yield savings account, throw that shit in there. Then focus on paying down your higher interest debt. If your credit score tanked, that's okay. You can build that back up by paying your bills quickly and on time. She also says a smart way to improve your credit score, increasing the amount of credit you have available without actually using it. It's called credit utilization. You can do this by calling your credit provider, asking for an increase, and then just don't spend any of that money. You can read the full article on Oprah Daily if you want more. You can also read her New York Times bestseller called Financial Feminist. And remember, you now have complete control over your earning and your spending decisions. You can use that money as a tool to take care of yourself and your family.
Hello everyone, this is Emmanuel Cook. We will be reacting to a new video today, so make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe down below, and let's get into the video.
Yes, I have my kids half the time. Yes, I still pay child support. Why? Because child support is not just about time spent with the kids, it's also about income. As the higher earner, I have to pay my ex child support. Is this fair? What do you think?
I want to talk about the shame surrounding finances and money after divorce. My ex-husband makes about 7 times more than I do monthly. He brings home 7 times more every month than I do. Today, one of our children had to go and get braces on again for the second time. My ex-husband is in the military, and so we get dental insurance through a program attached to his military benefits, but it doesn't cover everything. So we do have to pay out of pocket quite a bit of money, especially for a second set of braces. So altogether, it's going to be about $6,000. Now, I don't know about you, but I don't have just $6,000 lying around for braces. They'll have them on for about 2 years, and that's why they are so much, but it's a really hard thing to afford. In our divorce decree, we do have it set up that he pays a percentage and I pay a percentage for things like this. And he pays more than I do because, like I've said, he makes a significant amount of money more than I do every month. Since he's in the military, he is out of state right now. He has training somewhere else, doesn't matter. But because he is the financial contributor to her dental situation, he had to be on the phone, and we couldn't get the braces done on my child until he signed off on it. And so we had to send him emails to get him to e-sign it, and then he wanted to pay for his portion. So the lady took down his payment information on the phone. That wasn't on speakerphone, but I could hear her side of the conversation. And she took down his payment, and she was like, oh, you want to pay all of yours? Because she understood that we were splitting it up. And she was like, oh, you want to pay all of yours right now, while Brandy will have to pay for her own separately. And he said, yeah, I want to do that. His ended up being about $4,000 that he was going to pay out of pocket, and he just dropped that money like it was nothing. He gave it to her over the phone, and she was like, okay, great. And then she got off the phone and she was like, okay, Brandy, so this much is left over and whatever, and I've got my child sitting here and I've got this woman sitting here. And I just look at her and I say, there's no way that I'm going to be able to pay that amount of money out of pocket, so please set me up for monthly payments. Do I think that he did that on purpose to humiliate me in front of this person? I don't know. I don't know him anymore. But I want to just say there is no shame at all in not being able to afford the things that your previous spouse can afford. There's nothing wrong with you. It has nothing to do with you. If he was out to embarrass me or to shame me, then he's gonna have to try again. You are okay with having less money than they have. You are going to survive, and don't let it bring you down.
Divorcing an ex is supposed to bring you freedom, but what if they're still trying to control you through money? Let's talk financial abuse post-divorce, because financial control doesn't end just because the marriage is over. The first step in recognizing and handling financial abuse is recognizing the tactics. So some of those might be delaying payments. They might withhold child support or alimony to destabilize you. They might sabotage your finances in ways like canceling shared accounts, refusing to transfer assets, disputing agreements that you had in the past. They might also try to create some sort of dependency, like offering help with expenses to maintain control or manipulate you. But there are steps that you can take to protect yourself. The first one being document everything. Keep records of missed payments, any agreements that you had, any communication about finances, screenshot text messages, emails. Proof matters, especially if you're going to need legal intervention at one point. Step 2 to protecting yourself, separate your finances completely. Close your joint accounts, remove them from any credit cards they might be on, and also monitor your credit report for any suspicious activity. If something is happening, you're going to want to nip it in the bud sooner rather than later. Another piece is to set really clear boundaries. If they try to control you with money, refuse their offers, even if it feels tempting, and just lean on your trusted resources, your support system instead. And then you can always take legal action, speak with a lawyer about enforcing any court orders or any delayed child support and alimony. That can often be escalated legally as well, especially if you're entitled to it. And then the key part is to build your own financial independence. And I know it's much easier said than done, so start small. Open your own bank account, set up a budget for yourself, educate yourself about finances, because regaining control of your money is so empowering. And you left to escape their control. So don't let them trap you financially. Freedom starts with reclaiming your power, and it's one step at a time.
It is a myth that women who are divorced from men are left better off financially. Women post-divorce are jetting off to their Italian villas to be with the pool boy. Although I wouldn't be mad about it. Here's what the data shows. Post-divorce, both parties experience a drop in household income and assets because, of course, you're splitting one big pool, one big shared pool into two. But what we see is that women's drops by twice as much as men's. Many women sacrifice their own earning power so that their husbands can climb the income ladder. Census data shows that 80% of single custodial parents are women. Also, often spousal support payments only last for a few years. Divorce is really painful for all parties involved. And as compassionate people, we all know this, yet exhausting tropes about divorce and women persist. A gold digger conspiring to take a man for all he's worth. We can be done with that for now.
Okay, your idea of thriving and my idea of thriving are probably two very, very different things. Let me explain. Okay, for 10 years, I was married to a man who had no self-control when it came to money at all. In fact, I would go as far to say he is addicted to spending money. We never had any savings. We were never able to truly get our bills paid on time. I mean, the most important things to him, like our cell phone bill, things like that did, but other things didn't. I am still in a lot of debt, mostly medical debt, lots and lots of medical debt, because of this man's addiction to money, and I just never had access to it. It was very limited to me. I was not allowed to buy the things I wanted to buy because so many other things were so much more important to him, like his cars. That's his other addiction, his cars, a very expensive addiction. Yet he'd get mad at me for being addicted to chapstick. I'm not joking on that. So now when I tell you that I am thriving in my life, I'm not thriving. I mean, are any of us actually thriving? No. But I am thriving compared to where I was because I divorced that man. I left him. I've been officially divorced for over a year now, which is the most wonderful thing. And I'm dating a man who is helping me learn good money habits, how to manage my money properly. I have savings. My bills are getting paid on time, even early. I'm paying off more on my car loan each month than I need to, so that I can get that paid off as fast as possible. So yes, I am thriving right now. I am happy and I love it.
I forgot to answer one of his questions. What did I get from the divorce? I got the house that we had together. I had to pay my ex $25,000 to be able to keep the house. He didn't transfer the name of the house from joint us together to me. So that house owned by me, free and clear. Well, at that time it was not free and clear, but I then later paid it off by myself. I got to keep my 401k. I didn't have to share with him because he also has his 401k we were making about the same. I did not get no cash. All the cash will basically drain out after he left. He got to have our saving basically, which are cash and silver bars that he was buying while we were married. I didn't really believe in it. And he took the more expensive car. It was Honda Pilot that's been paid off. I kept Honda Civic that has loan in it. It was not a lot. I think it was like $9,000 or something left at the divorce. That's it. I think that's it. That's all I got. So I did not get rich, or I did not become a millionaire from the divorce. No, not the divorce directly, but going through the divorce, going through the struggles had made me become a hustler, had made me become stronger, and I made into a millionaire by myself.
Relying entirely on a man financially, content/worldview is having a renaissance.
Disregard the rap, but go watch this whole video. As someone who just recently got divorced, I've always worked, and I'm so happy that I have done all the things that I have needed to do, because when we got a divorce, my ex was the primary bill payer and all that stuff. When we got a divorce, I could afford to leave. I could afford to have my own place again. And I know there are so many women out here who have gotten divorced and they do not have that privilege. And I thank my lucky stars and I thank God every single day that I had the wherewithal to continue working and to get my degrees and do everything that I needed to do, because you never know when you're going to need to stand on your own 2 feet. I have a mom whose husband passed away and she had to figure it out, and I saw her struggle to figure it out. It was not easy. And so as much as I hate working, I am the person that hates to work. As much as I do, I always say that you should be able to have your own. Absolutely. I think you are doing yourself a disservice if you do not go get your degree and have all your ducks lined up, because it's hard. It is hard out here, especially if you're going to depend on a man, and now you have to depend on yourself.
A quick reminder, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe down below, and let's continue the video.
Here's how I'm recovering from my financially devastating divorce. We're talking 5 years of court, clearing out all the retirement funds in order to pay for attorneys type divorce. And I say this so other people who have gone through this can hear. And it was also followed by a move across 2 states, which also costs money. So I moved into a home that I am renting out part of to help ease the cost of living. Check my posts on renting to travel nurses. I also moved to a less expensive area. I searched and negotiated hard for a job that would pay me as much as I could possibly get in this area. I'm also not loyal to them. I will leave them if I'm able to find something that pays better. And I am working my ass off on my side hustles in order to bring in extra income, which right now is in the form of building an email list for affiliate marketing. I'm also working on my own product to release later this year to a targeted group of people. It's going to be a slow recovery, but I'm going to be better than before.
Okay, this makes me nervous, right? Going through a divorce with just an accountant who specializes in divorce. And look, I am an accountant who specializes in divorce, so of course I think we're great. But divorce is a legal process. You need legal expertise so that you understand your rights and responsibilities, or even the most well-meaning accountant can lead you astray. Also, it really is a negotiation with a range of possible outcomes, just when it comes to the numbers, right? And so if you were at a disadvantage to your ex, like if they have more control over the assets or knowledge or experience in negotiating a business deal, then you need advisors who are solidly in your camp to level that playing field. Okay, so just be careful.
So back in, was it 2014, I was running some support and empowerment groups for women. And it really surprised me that there were a number of women in there who were going through divorce and had never worked outside of being a stay-at-home mom, right, which is a tremendous amount of work, but they had never worked in the traditional, the workforce. And so now they were starting their careers at 50 with no job skills in that sense, workforce job skills, and really, really struggling. And it kind of scared me straight a little bit and made me think, oh my gosh, like I want to always be able to stand on my own 2 feet. Because the truth of the matter is you never know what's going to happen. Whether divorce, I mean, no one gets married thinking they're going to get divorced, right? But it happens, and it happens a lot, right? Also, spouses die, partners die, right? Unfortunately. So I think if you're interested in the trad wife, I know this is like a common term going around right now, traditional wife, and where I live, it's very, very common actually. Just be mindful of that. Like, what is your backup plan if you are divorced in 10 years, if you are a stay-at-home mom? And I'm so for stay-at-home moms. I think it's beautiful. The children benefit, the mom benefits. It's just, or stay-at-home parents in general. It's beautiful, but what is your backup plan? Because things might be rosy for a while, but you never know what's going to happen down the road, and how are you going to take care of you?
My friend that's getting married this year told me that after the wedding, they're going to be combining all of their finances. I just want to know why we're continuing to give all of our financial stability to a relationship. Something happens and your money is combined. What are you supposed to do about that? What are you supposed to do if your money is combined and you have a divorce or you break up? Having your own bank account when you're in a relationship is the most important thing you can do for your freedom. Because not only are you giving all your financial freedom to the relationship, to talk about what the other person is buying, approval if you want to buy something, go over every single expense that you are spending. Imagine wanting to treat yourself and be spontaneous about it, but you can't because you have to get permission to use the joint bank account first. That's a whole lot of no from me.
Okay, I learned my lesson. I won't give it a number in rank. But a reason for divorce is financial issues. That's a big one because me and my husband have had problems financially. We've been evicted. We've lost houses. That's a lie. Been evicted, lost cars. And our young grown up years of immaturity and bad credit, getting in debt for foolish reasons. I had so much debt I had to say, Lord, I promise if you get me out of this, I'll never do it again. But one thing I've learned, see, some of you don't want to stay with somebody long enough to find out how you can fix it. You want to get out. You don't want to work. Everybody wants everything easy. Everything is automatic. Fixing a marriage is not automatic. It takes work. And financials is the biggest thing. You have two different people with two different mindsets trying to come together and live together. It takes time to merge two entities. One thing I found out, my husband knows how to save and helps me with that. But I am a financial whiz when it comes to accounting and bookkeeping and budgeting. I can help anybody with the budget. That's what I do. When I'm bored and don't have nothing to do, or I'm in a meeting that's boring, I start playing with my budget. I love playing with my budget. So it took me this many years to find out he's better at saving and I'm better at making the household business budget. He lets me fix the bills on his account. I set up how much we pay every week to certain bills. I do that. But give me the money in my hand, it may disappear. So you have to learn the strengths of each other. And both people have to be willing to work together. It takes more than one. So if you can agree from the start, we're going to find out. I don't care what you tell me, we're going to find out from the start who's better at what when it comes to finances. It's one of the main reasons for a divorce. It used to be the number one reason and the main thing everybody talked about. But it doesn't have to be. We stayed together long enough and got past it long enough to know who's better at what when it comes to finances. Sit and talk about it. And don't wait till it gets bad to start talking about it. Talk about it early on. Talk about it when it's not important. Talk about it when you have nothing else to talk about. Make it one of your things you communicate. It makes all the difference when you get to know each other and see how you operate. That's what we did. If we get a divorce, it won't be for finances. We ain't getting a divorce, but that wouldn't be the reason.
She is extremely smart. She's very wise, and she's right. You guys have to play to each other's strengths. You have to play to each other's strengths. If he is good at X and you are good at Y, you guys work together as a team. You wait long enough to actually figure things out. Finances is the core of everything that we do in this life. It solves so many arguments, so many issues, so many problems. It literally solves it. So see who is good at what and play to each other's strengths. And yeah, great advice.
Okay, so divorce PSA. This is mostly for my women clients, but it could definitely go either way. But here's what it is. As I'm sitting and we're going through, as a CDFA, I'm kind of helping with budgeting. Let's look at cash flow, these kind of things. And here's the statement that I hear. He's never going to let me not live in a nice house or not drive a nice car or not be able to take the kids on a vacation or not have, what I need, because it's a reflection on him because I'm the mother of his kids. Okay, girl, that's not going to work that way. He is going to take care of his kids most likely in most situations. Some situations he's not even going to do that. So if you can't bank on that, you really can't bank on him taking care of you too. And even if out of the gate he does, odds are when a new wife comes into the picture, a new partner, a new girlfriend, whatever the case may be, that's going to go out the window. So as you're budgeting, as you're cash flowing, as you're looking at your divorce, do not count on that, because in most cases, I'm not saying all, some guys may really do this and step up and take care of their wives or ex-wives for the rest of their lives. I haven't seen it. So count on the alternative, have a plan B, or basically have a plan A, make that your plan B, whatever the case may be, but work with a professional, make sure you've got your finances in line. Don't count on someone else taking care of you, because that's how a lot of people end up in trouble in the first place. So if you need help with your finances, your budget, all the things in your divorce, reach out to me. Link is in my bio.
What am I allowed to do financially after the divorce is filed? Well, that's a good question, because the court actually issues an order called a temporary restraining order when the case is initially filed. And what that order is designed to do is prevent either party from running up any additional debt in the other party's name or disposing of any marital assets before they can be properly divided. So the purpose of that order is, once the case is filed, basically all assets and debt are frozen so they can be evaluated and they can be properly divided for a final resolution of the divorce.
Things you might not know about divorce and your money. Let's break it down. Myth number 1, child support is only for absentee parents. Even with 50-50 custody, the higher earner may still have to pay child support. It's about income, not just time. Myth number 2, assets are always split 50-50. In truth, in some jurisdictions, assets are split 50-50, but other jurisdictions use an equitable distribution model. Also, there are exceptions to the 50-50 rule, even in those jurisdictions where 50-50 is the status quo. Myth number 3, if you didn't work during the marriage, you get nothing. In truth, many stay-at-home parents are entitled to spousal support or alimony, or a larger share of assets due to their contributions. Finally, myth number 4, divorce ruins your finances forever. True, divorce is financially tough, but it's also a financial reset. With the right money moves, budgeting, rebuilding credit, and increasing your income, you can actually come out strong. Did any of these tips surprise you? Drop a comment below if you learned something new.
I was a realtor for 17 years, did fairly well. Left that a year and a half ago, and financially it's been a struggle since that time. I worked at Target full-time 7 months last year, and was sending child support checks out to 2 ex-wives, and I couldn't afford a 1-bedroom apartment in the city I lived in, and that got tiring and that got old, and couldn't pay my own bills. And we tried some different things, my ex-wife and I, and agreed that it'd be best to do this. Again, I'm going to a job that's going to, provide me food and shelter, and hopefully pay me enough where I can send both ex-wives the child support that they desperately need and deserve, and take care of them. And if I find myself along the way, that's super cool too.
I appreciate you guys watching the video today. Please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe down below, and I'll see you guys in the next video.